and welcome to Amagi Views Behind the Show. We're thrilled to be here in beautiful Amsterdam for IBC 2024. We're on day 2 of our 4-day-long coverage. I'm Joe Ashby, Principal Broadcast Specialist at Amagi, and I am beyond excited to be hosting this show for you today. Now, we're going to be running this event once a day for the entire 4-day show. By the end of IBC, I'll have hosted 4 of these sessions, and since you've already been watching Amagi View on our website or on a new app, you've seen us engaging in live events all throughout the day. We've been showcasing live events with our product specialists, featuring new capabilities with our premier broadcast channel origination solution, CloudPort. We've re-envisioned our Teleo Studio production suite, our Thunderstorm SSAI tools with great new capabilities like Zero Slate, which you have got to see to believe, and our other amazing products. So far. We put a lot of great content on the air using this solution, and we are just getting started. We've also hosted great interviews with key folks at Amagi and with some of our amazing customers, because no one sells us better than our customers, and I can attest to that as a former solutions architect. Some of our customers are wizards at our solutions, and that makes me so happy to know that our technology is not only feature-rich, but also so capable that we have OTA and cable customers on air today trusting Amagi to deliver a Tier 1 level of service. Now, this demonstration is called Behind the Show because we're giving you a look behind the scenes at exactly how we envision at Amagi a broadcaster is able today to run a live production using a simple road kit of 2 cases of gear, 1 instance of Teleo Studio, 1 instance of CloudPort, an internet connection, and power. That's all you need to take a production anywhere at this level of quality that you're watching live right now. So now that we're all introduced and friendly, let's break down the actual solution as we run this show in progress, and you'll get to meet some of my friends along the way. So first, let's start with Teleo Studio and the operations behind it. Now, as we rolled the show open and I was getting ready to go live, Jacob Vernick was in my ear counting me down, keeping me in perfect timing per the 4-second delay from this room to the screen behind me, and that is on average. And he's acting as our TD today. You can see him right behind me, actively switching and calling this show live right now. What's up, buddy? And sitting right next to him is Mateus. Mateus is our producer / a lot of other things today. And we wanted to prove that you can run a production with minimal staff, so he'll be pulling lots of technical and non-technical duties in the studio today. Now, for camera ops, we trained everyone at the booth how to run these things, so literally anyone can stand in and help operate. We have totally new operators today. How are you? So while Mateus is busy producing the show, he's also monitoring the channel operations. He's clipping VOD assets for marketing in our Teleo Pro app, and let's not forget where all of these things are taking place. We are in Amsterdam. The data centers are in Ireland and North Virginia. This is all happening completely over the internet. There are no hidden racks of gear anywhere. So what we're proving right now is that that's all you need. IBC level internet at your booth, 2 road cases worth of gear, Teleo Studio in the cloud, and Amagi CloudPort for network origination. Now, let's touch briefly on CloudPort. That's our channel origination and automation ecosystem. And you're watching it live right now, so you can see its broadcast grade PQ, and you can trust in the word of our major partners. Our automation and customization capabilities are now unmatched, and you can currently see it running on Mateus's monitor. Now, we've been running a 24/7 playlist for the last couple of weeks in shadow testing. We schedule our live events in the list and coordinate with MC Ops to oversee the switchover just like any other operation. And like I said, we did the countdown exactly as you would in a typical on-prem broadcast production. If, SMPTE forbid, we go over or under, then when we end, we're going to send a SCUDdy message directly from the studio switcher. Jacob will, we've already got that programmed in, that will kick off the ad break. Now when that hits CloudPort, CloudPort will roll the scheduled break as expected. It'll be up to Mateus to readjust the content then for the end of the day. And as we all know, Master Control Ops is constantly shuffling because of live event timings. Now look, we're going to do our best. This is our very first show, performing live events. We're doing our best to hit that 30-minute mark on the dot. You're going to see if we can do it. I think we might be on schedule so far. Okay, so let's recap. We've got Teleo acting as our virtual PCR and CloudPort acting as our virtual MCR. What do we have next? How are we actually managing this show behind the scenes? Our Teleo Studio Comms application is so versatile to modern workflows, and it's also insanely easy to use, and it's actually running in my ear. That's why I have my AirPods in, not because I'm listening to the new Dua Lipa banger, but it's actually because this is my comm just connected through my iPhone. Before we started the show, Jacob simply sent the link to the whole crew. We all jumped in. I'm getting comms minus audio, so I don't have my audio, but I do have the rest of the program audio, just as talent would expect. I have Jacob and Mateus counting me down for all my cues. And that's how we're able to do perfect cue timings, even though there's a 2-second delay from the camera to a High-Vision Stream Hub, and then from Stream Hub into Teleo Studio, and that's the other 2 seconds of the average latency. Okay, so let's switch gears now and talk about the hardware behind the scenes. Let's first discuss the first glass in the new glass-to-glass cameras. This is one of my favorite parts because I got to spec out and build a couple of kits worth of gear, which I'm a total nerd for. So I was thrilled to be able to buy some cameras while working for a cloud broadcast company. But the kind of cameras I got to buy are what's really impressive to me. Today I feel like not even 5 years ago I would have been able to have this conversation with any of you. A decade ago, I would have likely been laughing at myself in the future for saying, this is the kind of production quality I'm getting out of a PTZ RoboCam that costs $250 on Amazon, a very affordable Blackmagic Studio Pro G2, which you're looking at right now, and an iPhone 15 Pro Max we're using as a floater. The PTZ camera is mounted high above us, and we're using that for the broad shots and overall booth coverage. It's an excellent camera to mount high and cut to anytime. Next, the iPhone. Take a look at the real thing. You want to come in here for a second? I'm just going to pause the prompter. Adam, bring the iPhone in, buddy. Let's bring the iPhone in here. Look at this. I want to see this, yeah. Show everybody what this is. This is how we're shooting the floater. It's an iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's got a Pro lens attachment, small rig gear. It's a complete production device now. I mean, they really are. And the camera quality. You want to switch over and go to film quality on this Pro G2. I'm telling you, this is the camera to beat. It's an incredible device. When I landed at Sheepo, all I wanted to do was take this out of the case and just go film airplanes, really. I mean, I'm just that much of a camera nerd. So with a kit this inexpensive and this portable, I can not only do live remote production anywhere, but I can also capture cinema quality assets in my production as well. Now for audio, I'm using Rode Wireless Go 2 mics connected to my lapel here. I've also got an emergency backup in my pocket if I need to pull another one out. And we've got 2 microphone lavs. We've got 2 stand-up mics if we want to use those. We even got some mic flags in the kit, but I thought it looked kind of cheesy once I tried it on, so I threw it out last minute. I can throw all this gear in my backpack and connect to it via a High-Vision fly pack, and we're ready for air. So now let's talk about our partners real quick before we have to go to break. High-Vision has brought us some incredible technology today. High-Vision is the secret sauce behind how we're bringing all 3 of these camera feeds into the cloud perfectly synchronized. The Pro G2 camera is connected via a High-Vision 460 encoder that's creating SST at a 2-second latency directly into a High-Vision Stream Hub account that's mounted directly next to the VPC where we're running our Teleo Studio account. Now we'll get a shot at the pack of the desk doing all the heavy lifting. Casey's on his way over with the floater right now to go ahead and get that shot. There it is. So, the PTZ cam is also connected to a High-Vision Air 360 encoder, and just like the 460, this encoder is also configured the same. SST, 2 seconds latency up, creating synchronized feeds once they hit the Stream Hub. And last but not least, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is running their Mojo Pro software. That app is so easy to use and is well creating its very own, that's right, SST layer, sending that directly over the Wi-Fi network. There's not even a SIM card in the phone. It's just connected to our Wi-Fi network, which is a Ubiquiti gear stack segmented just for this video production with its own dedicated internet. So latency, that's a total 4 seconds delay total on average from the camera to the production switcher, which you can see on the giant monitor behind me. Now from this camera to right there, it's pretty great. And the fact that I can turn around and literally tap Jacob on the shoulder and say, I just heard your call out, buddy, for the break. So I guess we need to wrap this segment up. When we come back, we're going to talk about CloudPort. We're going to talk about the other screens on this wall. We're going to talk about the distribution elements, a few more of the Teleo Studio elements, and Thunderstorm and how we're actually distributing and monetizing streams. As you can see, there's still a lot more coming, so stay tuned. Welcome back. We are live in Amsterdam at the Amagi booth where we're demonstrating our glass-to-glass studio PCR and play-out MCR operations in the cloud while performing a live production which you're all now a part of. You won't believe it. Yesterday I'm doing a sit-down interview right here, and while we're talking, some guy is watching us and he just walks right in front of the camera while we're talking. Like, he made the conscious effort to actually see us doing this live, and he still walked through. If there was ever a way to prove you're doing it for real, well, that was it. So earlier in the show, we covered the equipment that we're using, we covered how we're getting the signals into the cloud, we also covered Teleo Studio and how we're creating the show, and we briefly touched on how we bring the channel to air with CloudPort. Let's spend a little more time now talking about that. So CloudPort has undergone a significant transformation in the last several years. Driven by our amazing customer partnerships, our advancements, and achievements in the automation and playout space, make CloudPort the premier solution for all cloud origination, from fast to flagship and every converged channel need in between. Let's dig in real quick to a few of the new broadcaster-focused features on display today. First off, our resiliency is unmatched with new multi-region synchronization capabilities and on-prem revenue protection products. 5 nines in the cloud isn't a promise at Amagi, it's an on-air reality. Next, we've greatly enhanced our UI with new operator-driven features and layouts. We've worked closely with our customers to create enhancements that better the experience for the team on the ground, like the all-new join in progress features, and enhanced playlists with new controls and alerts, more streamlined interfaces, and so much more. We already did a product highlight, you've got to go watch it. They've also integrated TRO7. They've worked to create new APIs and open standards for automation and engine control. And they've worked to adopt our capabilities into our customer ecosystems, directly expanding existing environments. Now, if you're in the crowd watching, you've got to go talk to our product team right behind you after the show for all the latest and greatest. If you can't tell, I am very proud of this team. And lastly, our support and services organizations are growing to meet the demanding requirements of Tier 1 broadcast. We understand when your revenue is on the line and you pick up the phone, you demand an immediate response. We have enterprise-level programs in place to meet the needs of any tier of broadcast. And our managed services operations are growing as well, but we'll talk about that at a future show. Okay, marketing spiel over. Let's look at the multi-viewer and see how our solution moves literal digital mountains when it comes to broadcast flexibility. Now in our cloud air chain, our playout engine is directly connected to our new encode and distribute module, which creates not only an SRT for contribution and distribution over DMVPD, satellite, cable, or even back to the ground for an OTA transmission, and yes, we are even doing that at a grand scale for customers today, but it also creates the HLS packages and manifests for us from a single source and code. We're able to take our signal live anywhere in the world on any service provider right now. We even work with great partners like ATEM to create ATSC 3.0 with HDR directly out of our playout environment. We are ready for broadcast at every level. Now, if you're watching this live, you're probably on our website or watching through our new Amagi app. You're seeing the HLS distribution as it comes through our Thunderstorm SSAI platform, which we will cover fully in just a minute. So stay tuned with us for the final minutes as we close on SSAI, ad insertion strategies, and more when we return with our product specialist all the way from beautiful San Francisco, John Stone, when we come back. Welcome back to Behind the Show. I'm now joined with John Stone. John, your title's too long,
I know.
So go ahead and say it yourself.
I don't know, I made it up. So I'm a product specialist for Thunderstorm monetization strategies.
Yeah, you try remembering that or saying it 3 times fast.
I know, right?
Come on, all right? So speaking of 3, I have 3 big things that I want to talk to you about Thunderstorm, since you're the expert, okay?
Okay.
Tell me about first distribution, then monetization, and then personalization. So let's start at distribution.
Yeah,
what have you got for me there?
Okay, so as you were probably already talking, the glass, everything that's going on here.
Sure. Yep.
This is all about producing the content and the feed.
Right.
But what use is that if it can't actually get out and be viewed by everybody?
Absolutely.
So, besides your normal terrestrial broadcast, modern day fast and other streaming technologies, people consume stuff streaming over the internet, also known as OTT, over the top.
Yep.
Sometimes I think it should have been called IPTV, but unfortunately they already stole that name, so we had to come up with OTT, which is just a crazy name.
Wasn't the first time, won't be the last.
Wasn't the first, wasn't the last. So, but the whole idea is because we're delivering an OTT, which means now it is streaming and it's being downloaded as individual chunks, and we don't need to get into the the nitty-gritty on that, but the point is it is very easy to be able to divert and change what actual content people are watching.
Sure.
So it naturally enabled the idea of why do a unified national ad when you can, during an ad break, give an ad to every single user based on their specific demographics or other information we can have, and therefore personalize and monetize.
Because I don't need one more toilet paper ad in my rotation. I want an ad for model trains.
Apparently, I need once a day Zeposia for my moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, because I get that ad every single time.
You're oversharing now, but let's continue.
I don't know why, but yeah. So anyway, so the point is personalization. So right now, when we are doing SSAI or server-side ad insertion, that is a level of personalization. Yes, it's monetization, but it really is personalization.
Yes.
We have the ability to provide a unique stream to every single viewer, but if you think about it, it would make sense right now, people watching the show want to watch the show.
Absolutely.
So what I mean by that is we could send alternate stuff, but that's not why someone tuned in.
Sure.
So we are actually just deciding not to personalize it during the event. It's almost like the Hulk. You know what my secret was? I was angry the entire time. So we're actually holding back the personalization during the show, and then when we're going to do the ad break, that's when we let everyone go in all the different directions they want to go. These are based on internal markers, some Scuddy 35 markers, things like that. Sorry, I don't know if people watching are super technical or not.
Oh, they definitely know what a Scuddy 35 marker is.
All right, fair enough.
Yes, yes.
Fair enough. But
I have a joke earlier that says "Simpty forbid," so they better know.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So anyways, the point is, it's like basically, all right, everyone go nuts.
Yep.
Meet us at the rendezvous point. Now,
love it.
Obviously, Thunderstorm is involved in not only placing the ad, making different content come in, but we're also involved in the signal flow to reach out to the ad decision servers and come up with what are the specific ads that each individual viewer should be watching right now. Okay?
So we've got products and tools that actually enable all of that decision making.
Yes.
Okay.
Not only enable it, and that's the fun stuff. The fun stuff is you know, being able to see what's going on, but the real important stuff behind the scenes is the efficiency of it.
Right.
Is making sure that the best and most monetized ad, the one that will actually generate the most amount of revenue, making sure that we get the most amount of ad fill, things like that. It's not just a yes or no, it's not a commodity. It's all about making it hum, making it tuned up, so we're gonna get as many ads as possible, paying the most amount, so our customers can monetize and make the most amount of revenue.
So it's yes with a purpose.
Yes with the purpose.
Okay, I like that, okay. And so that is going to continue to drive upward revenue mobility, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, how does that affect personalization, right? Is this all trickling towards that grander experience? Like you were showing me some really cool things yesterday, like you were discussing like a DVE, like a 2-box DVE. You no longer have to like have that baked into the graphics of the primary playout anymore.
Yeah, absolutely,
that is
absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah, so one of the cool things that we're showing off at the show is there's going to be different consumption models. Right now, we're going with the regular show and then ad breaks, regular show and then ad breaks, because that's, I guess, the easiest first step to do, but personalization, we can be personalizing at all times.
All times.
So when we're talking
even
about,
in the graphics,
even
like
in the
that
graphics,
depthful, like
right?
That's crazy.
So I believe over here we have a couple different examples of things.
Camera can follow. We're great.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Awesome. Right here, perfect timing.
Oh, perfect.
This right
timing,
here, you see this picture-in-picture? This is not being done in playout. This is being done at the edge.
No, that sounds impossible.
No. I thought, honestly,
that sounds impossible.
When I came and started working at Amagi, I called the bluff on this. I'm like, show this to me, and we're showing it because we only have a very small capacity. We're showing one specific picture-in-picture.
Right.
But this can scale. This can scale cohort level, regional level.
To every user.
To every user. So the idea is probably one of the first use cases of this is going to be, think about sports distribution, think about news distribution.
Absolutely.
Think about, and yes, for monetization, but doesn't necessarily only need to be monetization. What if you want to bring up the radar for one specific region based on their IP address,
Absolutely.
Things like that.
Yes.
That can be done. That's stuff that is insanely cost prohibitive to be able to do at the master control level, because you would literally have to create a new stream, a new playout server doing it, because usually once you put in graphics, forever now that is in the video itself. And we're doing that, but we're doing it at the edge. So we're taking some of that core intellectual property that's in Cloudport and stuff, and we're putting it in on the edge when we're presenting it. And that is, this right here is black magic. This right here is the thing that I am super, super excited about.
I'll just say it again, it feels like magic, it feels impossible. Somehow we're pulling that off. And zero slate is something I also mentioned at the beginning.
Yes,
that,
absolutely.
Like, is another thing that's blowing my mind. So what opened me up to that?
Okay, so zero slate, a very, okay, so basically right now, fast ecosystem. It's a free ad-supported streaming television. What is it really? It's a lean-back experience of linear channels. It's very similar to a basic cable-like experience.
Yes.
And of course, the whole world is an evolutionary thing, not revolutionary. So what are we doing? We're doing the same sort of consumption that we're doing for basic cable. So if you have a 2-minute ad break right now, and let's say we're able to place a minute 30 worth of ad creatives. There's 30 seconds of ads that could not be placed. So what happens right now? Right now is you're going to see a slate that says, we will be back.
Got it.
I think anyone that has ever been on ESPN 3, ESPN 360, any of these, you always see, we will return. Anyone that is seeing any fast channel, you're going to see a, we will return in a countdown clock.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So now.
The bane of fast 2 years ago.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it still is a significant issue because fill rates are not 100%.
Right.
They just aren't. And so what we said is, well, we know what the schedule is. This stuff is already done. This stuff is in the can. It's in the linear playout. So why not take server-side personalization to the next level and actually deliver what is essentially a synthetic linear playout of your stream? And you tune in, whatever that time is, it should have been playing this content, it's playing that content. Now you go to an ad break, and let's say we can only fill a minute 30. At that minute 30, why don't we just go to the next segment that would normally be playing? So now technically you're a little bit ahead of someone that maybe got the 2 minutes worth of content.
Right.
But here's the thing, that drift winds up being not as much as one would think over time, but then also in the schedule, it knows, let's say the primetime show at 8 p.m., and let's say you're 2 minutes, 3 minutes ahead, it knows embargo that specific show until 8 p.m. So it's not gonna go to the next show ahead of anything else. So now there's about 3 minutes worth of content. So now what can we do? We can potentially call another ad break if possible, and that's when maybe the Sarah McLachlan, Adopt My Dog 3-minute commercial shows up. But maybe we can't monetize. But that's okay. We then would, there's many ways to do this. This is all experimental, but the idea is then, let's have some compelling B-roll, some compelling behind the scenes. I think like, even though HBO in the 90s didn't have ads, HBO had movies that ended way before top of the clock.
They definitely did, and they would fill it with additional content,
exactly.
Fill things at the end, right?
Exactly, and we can get lucky because of the fact that most ads are 15, 30, or a minute long.
Sure.
So the amount of time we have left over is probably something that could be easy tokenized. So you can have a 30-minute clip, a 1-minute clip, a 2-minute clip, a 5-minute clip, or something like that. So based on that amount of time, we can now put together and stitch together some actual content that will keep the user engaged, keep the user on, waiting for the next show.
So even if so when I jump in, I'm going to jump into an ad break that makes sense, even if I'm getting a 10, plus a 30, plus a 5.
Correct.
It's still going to all pan out and work out.
Correct. So the idea now is people can now have their cake and eat it too, because there's two different ways of consuming stuff. Personally, when it comes to long form stuff, I prefer like a VOD model, but many people want to have it provided for them. They want their guide, just want to lean back and enjoy the overall experience. But the problem with that is, I'm okay with the ad break, it's just, why do I need to watch a slate?
Right.
So now it's going to have that VOD-like behavior, or once that's the ad break is done, regardless if it's 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, it now can jump in to that next content. Now, on top of that, what you can really do is, based on users, based on user behavior, some users may like short breaks more frequent, some users may want a longer break. Some users, who knows, maybe we want to do a short break in the beginning, and then now we know they're dug in, they're watching this for the long haul, and that's when you do the 2-minute breaks, and later on the back end of that, we can now control all that, all programmatically. And at the end user, they're just watching their content, thinking they're just watching it linear. No one knows if you're 2 minutes ahead of what should have been in that movie versus the person next to you.
It fast feels like linear television.
It just feels like linear television. It's a smarter version of it, and
that is mind-blowing.
There's no slate, ergo, Zero slate.
I
That's
love
why
it,
they called
John.
it that.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, and you know what? We were actually right on time right now. You filled it perfectly. So,
Hi, Mom.
let's wrap this up. If you look around our booth, you can see targeted messaging for pillars like news, sports, cable, and OTA, but at the dawn of this new day, all the things we built here together, the convergence of digital content creation and transmission has never been more clear to us. Gone are the cables and the racks of gear holding us down. You hated that world, okay? The lines are blurred between any kind of channel playout. You pick your tier and CloudPort can service any level of channel need. With Teleo, gone are the days of tethered studio production. You just pack it up and you go anywhere. And with Thunderstorm, gone are the days where you're ever leaving $1 on the floor because you've improperly monetized your streaming portfolio. Today, you can reliably create news, sports, any kind of production you can think of with Amagi. You can create any kind of channel with Amagi. And you can monetize every single part of your distribution intelligently with Amagi. I wish you all very well. Thank you so much for watching and have a great IBC.